Getting mine, ain't no rush. This perfection coming up. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. In the end, it's gonna be us. Don't need a spotlight on this grind. I run it up. Been the cut, gotta eat, skip the sleep. Till the work done, I be up. I'm getting mine, ain't no rush. This perfection coming up. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. In the end, it's gonna be us. Don't need a spotlight on this grind. I run it up. Been the cut, gotta eat.
What's going on, world? Welcome back to the Crosscast. It's your man Cleveland Holmes, if you're professional. Showtime if you're nasty. I figured if I was gonna bring one special guest, might as well bring the most special guest. That's my lovely, my smart, my talented, beautiful mother, aka Mommy. How are you today?
I am well. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
It's a pleasure to be anywhere with you.
Oh,
Anywhere.
Thank you.
For those who don't know, I am what they call a mama's boy. But not the sissy kind, just the kind that really loves his mother. It's so when people think like, oh yeah, God is real, like yeah, this is like God to me. This is it right there.
Oh,
So,
wow. I am deeply honored. Deeply.
We're good. So I brought her here today because she actually has experience in a field, and that field is mental health. And you know, with the whole seasons changing, I'm seeing people mention their mental health more and more, like just on social media, even people I talk to, noticing people's moods change. I'm aware of that, and I figured I'd have somebody come explain or help explain. Really explain, because I don't know shit. But but I figured I'd have her come, maybe drop some jewels for people that are maybe going through these type of things and need some help. We can give you something. This is the free version. You know, if you want real help, you gotta pay. So first, I guess, what makes you qualified to tell somebody about mental health? I'm sure people want to hear credentials or something.
All right. Well, what makes me qualified is I am what is known as an LISW-S. I am a clinical social worker. I am a mental health, behavioral health specialist. That is my field. I am licensed by the state of Ohio. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in social work, and I chose the behavioral health tract.
Okay. So, for those who don't understand it, she get paid to tell us this stuff. So, for her to come on here and do it for free, hey, this is something good for y'all, man. This is community service right here. This is community service. So, I guess let's just jump right in. So, am I tripping, or is the weather something that plays a part in people's mental health? Is this just something I'm thinking I'm noticing, or is this a real thing?
No, you are not imagining anything. It is definitely a real thing. The DSM-4 listed a disorder by the name of seasonal affective disorder. And we are affected by the weather. We are affected by the changes in the weather. We are affected by changes in sunlight. Okay. One of the things that we get from sunlight is vitamin D. And vitamin D, even though it's called a vitamin, it's been found that it's actually a hormone. And vitamin D affects practically every function in our physical bodies. So when you have less sunlight, you're getting less vitamin D. So yes, that can definitely affect behavior, that can affect mood. So you are not imagining things, not at all.
Oh. See, now that vitamin D thing, that was new to me. I'm just vitamin D. When I hear vitamin D, I just think vitamin. You probably get a pill from it. I wasn't thinking a hormone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So y'all take advantage of that sunlight while it's out there. You know, if you're one of those people that work and maybe you're not available during the day in these colder months, maybe on your lunch break, step outside, get you some type of sunlight.
Absolutely. And you don't have to have a prescription to get a vitamin D supplement. Those are available over the counter for the folks that could definitely benefit from having a boost of vitamin D.
Okay. So you don't need prescriptions for vitamin D. You can get it from the store. Or you can get outside, try to get it from up in the sky. So even outside of just seasonal with people dealing with it, I guess the main thing would be depression, right?
Yes.
Are any other things that flare up, like, okay, maybe somebody that doesn't go through depression, like maybe they have another mental condition. Is it also a better chance of that going more haywire with these less sunlit months?
Yes. Like I said earlier, weather does affect how we feel. Think about it. Think about how you feel on a bright, sunny, warm day as opposed to how you feel on a rainy day.
Right.
Okay. Now, there are some people who enjoy rainy days, but there are also some people who feel down on rainy days. They feel blah. Have you heard people say that? I got the blahs, or it's a blah day. And they're talking about that lack of sunlight, that lack of positive, energetic weather. So, yes, the answer to your question is definitely yes.
And even I guess that does make a lot of sense. Like, even when you think about people that do like rainy days, what do they like them for? Usually more to chill, to relax, to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people that are usually high energy people, they don't care for that. I'm not a fan of rainy days. Like,
they have their place. I can appreciate rain sometimes, but I'm a high energy sunlight person. But I can't appreciate a thunderstorm. I think it's beautiful, excellent weather to sleep by.
yeah.
But when it comes to doing what I need to do and getting things done, the rain definitely puts a damper. I have to dig a little deeper to get that energy, to get that motivation, to get moving.
Right.
In the midst of a thunderstorm or a rain shower. So.
Yeah, that's not my thing. I know it's necessary, so I'm okay with it. But it's like, rain gets my shoes dirty, gets everything dirty. Like, everything just looks dirty when it rains.
Oh my goodness.
It's like, because rain is good for the dirt. Grow some stuff.
True. We need it. It is definitely necessary.
I get it, but I'm not one of those like, oh, it's a rainy day, I'm going to chill. I end up chilling, but I don't know. Not my thing. You guys are depressed. You're weird.
You have to be nice. And you have to allow space for every experience.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
You have to allow space for every experience. That's your field. Me, I'm just a podcaster and a factory worker. I don't have to allow any experience there.
Oh,
I mean, I guess I do that too. It would be wise for me to.
Because what that does is it makes you more open-minded, and it allows you to see things from more than one perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty open-minded.
Knowing you personally, I would say you're pretty open-minded when it comes to a lot of things.
That was well said. I know what that means. Did y'all catch that?
When it comes to a lot of things, I would say that yes, you are definitely open-minded.
Just not everything.
Well, I said a lot of things.
Yeah. See, she's good. She's good.
I don't know too many people who are open-minded about everything. We all have our built-in biases. We all have our built-in prejudices. We all have our own individual preferences. And some things we've developed core beliefs about, and we're not willing to shift easily. So You're good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're welcome.
So, as you say, core beliefs. I know core beliefs, like, I mean, they're us. That's what make us us, I guess, in our functioning, should I say, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our core beliefs. How hard is it in your field when you notice somebody has a core belief that it's like, that's crap. That's a crap core belief. Like, when you see one, how you attack that? Like, is it hard? Does it get easier?
It can be. How hard it is depends on what that core belief is costing a person and how much they are willing to change. How much do they want to change? If this core belief is costing you peace of mind, how badly do you want that peace of mind? Are you willing to go down to the root of the thing that's causing you an issue? Are you willing to dig up that root and reevaluate it?
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. What is it costing you?
Mm-hmm. What does it cost you?
Yeah, because I probably, over the last few years, I've had some core beliefs that I've come to realize weren't necessarily helpful. Like, even my willingness to participate in confrontation. That was when, like, I had a core belief that if you don't do this, you're soft.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, in all actuality, that's not. It just means you're confrontational.
Mm-hmm.
But that took a long time to actually, like, believe, like, to change that belief. Because I had situations where I'm like, where maybe, like, me and you have spoken, so I was actually trying to not be in stuff for a long time. And I would run into situations where maybe I do the right thing and let something that wasn't that big a deal go. But then I end up feeling like I did something soft and then snap the next thing that comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't believe I was doing the right thing at that moment.
You had a conflict with your value system.
Yeah.
So it sounds like what you did over time was reevaluate your value system. And it sounds like at some point you did a cost analysis. What is this costing me?
Right.
Okay. And since I know you personally, I would have to say again, you're good. You did good. You did good.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it can be difficult working with a person who has a pattern of behavior that is negative and that is costing them, that's not allowing them to experience the type or quality of life that they would want to.
Mm.
And what you have to do is walk that person backward, I say.
What do you mean?
Walking someone backward is taking them through their thought process, how they came up with this belief, and looking at all the things that are attached to this belief. I'm trying to think of an example that I can give really quickly. All right, let's look at a parent who has an adult child who is an active addict.
Okay.
It's very common for that parent to feel a certain level of guilt, for that parent to feel a certain level of responsibility for that adult child's actions.
Right.
The thing that can really bother that parent is the guilt they feel. So some of the actions that they take will be based on their feeling of responsibility. If I was a better mother, if I was a better father, I have to do this for this child. I have to do that for that child, even though that child's an adult. But what I work with that parent on is, how are you feeling guilt and responsibility for the actions of an adult? What is it that you've done for this child? How have you tried to help? What have you done? What did that cost you? And what was the outcome? Are you helping, really, or are you enabling?
Right.
And oftentimes, when I help that parent walk backward through their actions and why, they're able to come to the realization that I did all that I could do. I helped in this way. I assisted in this way. I offered this. They did not accept it. I've done my part. I'm not a bad parent. I'm not a bad mother. I'm not a bad father. I did everything I could do. And they're able to release that guilt. That core belief is, I'm responsible for what my child does because that's my child.
Mm.
And when you can let go of that core belief or change that core belief and stop looking at that child as a child, for one, you're able to let go of that guilt.
Mm.
And it goes a little deeper than that. Control.
Mm.
Thinking that you should be able to control what your child does. Because for, I'm going to say, roughly 18 years, we at least think that we are controlling what our children do. 18 years is a long time.
And everyone was or is a child, and everyone should know that's not true. It's true to an extent, but it's like, what you really gonna do? Are you gonna chain me up in the basement? Are you gonna whoop me every single day until I'm grown and move out? At some point, it's like you realize, I could do what I want. I could run away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
underneath everything, as a parent, you have to realize and accept, I don't have control over this person anymore. And that's a hard pill for most of us to swallow, but it is true. And once we accept that truth, it's as though a weight is lifted off of us. We are able to relinquish the burden of having control, because control comes with a burden. Control comes with a whole lot of responsibility.
And that's so true. Like, cause I had an episode where I was talking about like being a leader and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in situations. I've had enough situations in life to make me feel like leadership qualities I have some, or I have enough of them that other people tend to come to me for it in a lot of situations, more than I care for, because I don't care to have it at all.
Okay.
Because it comes with responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I have to, if you sit there, what I do next? What I do next? What I do next? That bothers me. I don't want you telling me, because I'm not sitting here waiting to ask somebody what I do next. I know what I want to do. And I guess that's like, a lot of people don't know what they want to do.
A lot of people don't. Think about it. Usually when you ask a person, what do you want? What do they immediately start to tell you?
I don't know.
Other than that, what they don't want.
Oh.
People will immediately start to tell you what they don't want when you ask them what they want. What do you want to eat? Well, I don't want Chinese. I don't want rallies.
Man, you're right. Damn, I do that. I didn't even realize it.
Most of us, you have to make a conscious effort to state what it is that you want. Do an experiment over the next few days. Just random people that you talk to, ask them what they want. And notice how many people tell you exactly what it is that they want. First. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And notice how many people start off by telling you what they don't want.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Cause like once you got to saying that, like I quickly could recall me doing that. Well, I don't want that. Okay, I want this.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just what do I want? What do I want? What do I want?
Mm-hmm. It's like we go through a process of elimination out loud.
Yeah.
Instead of knowing and stating exactly what it is that we want. So you are correct. Most people do not know what they want.
Yeah, cause I mean, just even like just having conversations like, okay, I got a friend who I was speaking to her the other day, actually, and we're talking about what she want to do, because she was talking about like trying to start a business, because she ran into a legal situation, so now like the field she works in, she's kind of stuck in the spot that she's in.
Okay.
And that's because those people ain't really checked for nothing. She was already there when she got into the trouble. So it's like, what's next? So as we're talking about it, I'm like, what did I say to her? She's like, well, I need to do something. I was thinking about doing some cleaning. And I'm like, well, I got a guy that has a cleaning business. Maybe you can get with him. And then she kind of shrugged that off. Somehow or another worked her way out of that. So that's clearly not what you want to do. She's like, well, I just don't know exactly what I want to do. So I'm like, well, I hit her with something I heard you say to somebody before. You said it took a shine. It was like, well, if money wasn't a thing, if you had everything set, what would you do for free?
Mm-hmm.
If you had everything set but you needed to keep busy, what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
She said she didn't know. She didn't know. And I could understand why she wouldn't know. Because that's a hell of a question when you really think about it. If you can come up with an answer to that question, you know what you want to do.
Yeah, because most of us don't take the time to get to know ourselves and to get to know what it is that we like, to get to know what it is that we enjoy. A lot of people follow trends.
So many people.
Mm-hmm. And they never take the time to figure out, why am I doing this? Am I doing this because I really like to do this? Am I going here because I really want to? Or am I going here because this is the spot? This is the place to be? Am I doing this because this is the thing to do? Well, why are you doing it? Everybody is doing it. Why are you going there? That's where everybody goes. But what do you want? And in order to do that, one thing it takes is some solitude.
Yes.
You have to get with yourself, stay with yourself, concentrate on yourself, get to know yourself. And it's easier to do that when you don't have a lot of outside distractions, when you don't have television, when you don't have social media, when you're not always talking on the phone, when you're not always interacting with others. Because we are influenced and we are impacted by our environment.
Right.
We are affected in some way by the things that go on around us. And I remember, I've seen it as a meme. I've heard it. I've heard people say it. I've read it in articles. If you don't program yourself, if you don't set your own agenda, somebody else will.
That's funny. You saw that on the meme. I said something similar to that before, but I don't think I read it on the meme though. Every time I think I'm getting original, man, it's some shit. I swear I be trying my hardest not to copy off stuff. I be trying so hard, but when they say there's nothing new under the
There's
sun,
nothing new under the sun.
it's there.
Mhm.
And then you got your ideas and idea eaters and all that stuff. I'm gonna do an episode about that.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, I'm looking forward to
yeah,
it.
this is mental health.
Speaking of mental health, I wanted to share some information with your viewers.
Yes.
There are some numbers that I wanted to share. In Ohio, there is a phone number. It's called the Ohio Care Line. If you or someone you know needs mental health / behavioral health assistance, dial 1-800-720-9616. That number again is 1-800-720-9616. That's for the Ohio Care Line. If you call that number, you will be directed to either an agency or an individual mental health practitioner who can help you, give you the assistance that you need. There's another one for those who are not as inclined to make a phone call. There's the Ohio Text Line. This number is for a crisis counselor. After you send the text, within 5 minutes, you will be connected to a crisis counselor. That text line is 741-741. You enter into the text the number 4 and the word hope. Text for hope to 741-741. And then there's the suicide hotline. That number is 1-800-273-TALK. The numbers are 8255. But just remember 1-800-273-TALK. And that will put you in touch with crisis counselors immediately. I wanted to share that. Because suicide is very prevalent.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who feel hopeless, and they are in pain. And a lot of people, it's not that they want to die, but they don't know how to stop the pain. And they think that stopping their lives is the only way to stop the pain. But a lot of people really don't want to die, but they feel like that's their only option. Before it gets to that point, please reach out and get some help. You are here for a reason. Please give yourself the opportunity to find out what that reason is. You don't have to remain in pain, and you don't have to go through whatever it is that you're going through alone. Reach out. Help is available.
Wow. Yeah, so hopefully y'all got those numbers. We'll try to get them in again towards the end of the episode. Put it in the comments. Because mental health it's important, man. Like, it's a lot of people out here that go through it. I have friends that go through it, and sometimes I have to get outside of myself. And I'm speaking to people who are maybe more like me. We're all, no excuses, make it happen, blah, blah, blah. I know that's probably a flawed way of thinking. It works for me, though. It works for myself. So if you're one of those people like me, try not to project that onto other people. Everybody don't live by that philosophy, and that philosophy does not work for everyone. I know that, and I do the best I can with not trying to push that on other people. Can I do better with it? Yes, because I still think what I think. You know, sometimes people need that help outside of them, outside of themselves. And maybe I'm lucky because I have this for a mother. You know, so maybe I'm taking things for granted, feeling like I'm doing more myself than I actually am. Could be, but for those of you who are like me and we're get it done, no excuses, don't be soft, blah, blah, blah. Don't project that on other people. If you know somebody that's going through something or they seem to always be down, they tell you that they're depressed. A lot of people will tell us that they're depressed and we just kind of shrug it off as like I'm sure you are. I do that. I'm good for that. Like, and to hear later on that these people have killed themselves or overdosed or, just anything where it's like, man, maybe I could have did something. Maybe I could have pointed them in the right direction. Now, my goal in life is not to fix everyone on a one-on-one basis. That's not me. I would rather blanket. I want to present something positive and blanket. Give it to everybody at once. As far as one-on-one, that's not my specialty. But there are people like her and many others whose specialty it is to deal with people one-on-one or maybe small group settings, whatever it is. They're trained, they're certified, this is what they do. They cared enough to learn this and go get degrees in this field. They cared enough for that. So most of them are probably going to be helpful. So, and if you find one that maybe doesn't work for you, you can get other ones, right?
Absolutely. If you decide that you want to reach out, you want to work with a specialist, and you find that it's not a good fit, there is nothing wrong with choosing someone else. You are not obligated to stay with any healthcare provider that you don't feel comfortable with. It's always going to be a matter of personalities. Right. Some people match, some people don't. So if you find yourself reaching out and you find yourself with a person that you don't click with or connect with, there's nothing wrong with choosing another person. Usually if you go through an agency, you don't have to go to another agency. There are multiple providers within that agency. If you pick an independent person such as myself, usually we will make a referral to another colleague if there's not a connection or if it's not a good fit. So you're absolutely right. And speaking of online, you can read people's messages, and sometimes it seems as though people are crying out for help.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with dropping these numbers in a post. You don't have to say anything, just post the numbers. Or if you don't want to put it in the post, send them an what do you call it? An inbox?
Yeah.
Send them
inbox, DM.
Yeah. The newfangled young folks stuff. Yes. Do that. But just get the information to them. Once you have provided them with the information, now they have a tool to work with. So you don't have to feel, oh, I should have said something. Oh, I should have done something. Oh, I should have seen that. If you don't know what you're looking at, you won't see it. It doesn't matter what you see. You don't know what you're looking at. And I have to say it, there are some people who use social media platforms to gain attention as well.
Yeah, I definitely see those people. Cause I've had instances where I saw somebody post something and like, are you telling me you about to kill yourself? And I inboxed them. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh no, I'm all right. But like it was more than just a I'm all right, like a I'm all right, leave me alone. It's like a I'm all right. Sometimes I have these thoughts, but it's usually nothing. Like, for you to say that makes me feel like there was never an issue. Because the people that have the issue, they be like, I'm all right. They just gonna leave it at that, Or then again, I'm not one of those people.
But if you provide them with the information,
right?
If you're the type of person who is open, you can say, hey, I'm here. Do you need to talk? If you're not the type of person who wants to engage in that type of conversation, just provide them with the number. And say, hey, if you need some help, call this number. If you need some help, text here. So you're offering a tool. You're offering a lifeline if the person needs it.
And you did your part. It's not for everyone to save everyone. We're all not Superman. But as a community, if we all do our part, we could at least save one person. That's not enough. You know, if I don't mind dropping someone a number
Mm-hmm.
that could potentially save their life or make their life easier. You know, and we're not to say everybody that's dealing with some type of mental health issue is just ready to jump. Because sometimes there's just people that just have mental health issues that really their life could go a lot smoother if they addressed them.
That's true.
You know,
You find some of the common themes that we see in our line of work are people who are suffering from clinical depression. Why do I call it clinical depression? Because everyone goes through depressed periods at some point in life. But there's a difference between being depressed. Maybe you lost your job and you don't have a prospect right away for another job. But you've got bills due, you've got obligations, you've got responsibilities, and you don't feel good about it. Maybe you lost a friend. You and this friend had a falling out and you feel bad about that. Maybe you lost a relationship and you feel bad about that. You feel down. But that's not the same as clinical depression. Clinical depression usually involves having low mood, feeling down. That could look like tearfulness. A low mood for most of the day, on most days, for at least 2 weeks. Feeling down for most of the day, for most days, and that lasts for 2 weeks.
At least.
At least 2 weeks. It can include changes in your sleep. Those changes could be sleeping a lot more than usual or sleeping a lot less than usual, not being able to get to sleep. Being able to get to sleep, but not sleeping through the night. So if you usually get 7-8 hours of sleep, maybe you're only able to sleep for a couple hours and you're wide awake. It can involve changes in your weight, noticeable changes in weight, either weight gain, significant weight gain, or significant weight loss.
Right.
It can include an increase in feelings of irritability or anger. Maybe you're usually a calm person, and now all of a sudden you're snapping at everybody. Maybe you're just usually easygoing. Now you're angry all the time. You're usually an upbeat person, and now you're sad. You always appear to be on the verge of tears.
Mm.
In children, how depression shows up usually is irritability. Okay, you may not see changes in sleep. You may not see changes in appetite. But this child is irritable. Let's say your 10-year-old, usually a peaceful child, and all of a sudden, your child is in a fight, gets suspended for a couple of days, goes back to school the next day that they're in school, they're in a fight again.
Right.
Or let's say over a period of a couple of months, this child is in a few fights. And this is not a fighting child. This hasn't been the behavior before.
Right.
Okay? Or they're yelling. The teacher is calling and saying that there's behavioral issues going on in the classroom. They're not cooperative. They're snapping at others, being disrespectful, something out of the ordinary. That child could be suffering from depression.
Mm.
So a lot of times we'll look at a situation and think, well, the person is just feeling down right now, but how long is it lasting and how much of their life is it impacting? If you find yourself feeling down and you're not able to shake it, and you notice other changes for a period of at least 2 weeks, call somebody. Get an assessment done. It's worth it. Another thing that we see a lot of is anxiety.
Exactly.
Now, we all experience anxiety. Some people, when it comes to school, are not great test takers. They get test anxiety. They get the butterflies in the stomach. That's not unusual. To be worried about something, worried about finding a job, worried about getting a promotion, worried about, is my podcast going to go okay? You know, that's normal. That happens. But when you have anxiety to the point that it interferes with other parts of your life, then it's a problem.
Example, what do you mean, like when it interferes with other parts of your life?
Okay.
What might that look like?
Let's say I'm driving. Let's say I'm going down the street, or let's say I'm on the freeway and a car almost hits me. It doesn't hit me, but it almost hits me. And that scares me.
Right.
Okay? I'm shaken up. Let's say it's time for me to drive down that same freeway again. I'm gripping the steering wheel. My heart starts pounding. I start to sweat. That's a problem.
Right.
Or instead of going that way, I drive way out of the way. I go around the long way because I can't do it.
Okay.
I don't like the way that I feel. I don't feel as though I'm in control. I'm fearful. I'm overly fearful that I'll get hit. That's interfering with my life.
Gotcha.
Let's say you have a loved one and your loved one was in Cleveland Clinic, and let's say your loved one didn't make it. Now, every time you drive down Euclid Avenue and you get close to Cleveland Clinic, you have a physical reaction. Your stomach knots up. You think about this loved one. You start to cry. You have to pull over and stop. You can't even get to your destination. What if you were on your way to work? You've got to pull over and stop. Now you're late for work.
Gotcha.
Interfering
Gotcha.
with your life.
That makes sense. Yeah, that sounds like a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. We covered clinical depression, anxiety. Are there any other common? I guess what I mean by common. Yeah, I mean things that maybe somebody that you be around every day that may go through these things and you probably don't notice if you're not you.
I'm going to read you something.
Okay. Shout out to Mom, first person to come on the podcast with some information. We out here winging it and sounding dumb.
I'm going to read you a definition. Episodes of mood swings ranging from depressive lows to manic highs. Manic episodes that include high energy, reduced sleep, psychosis. Depressive episodes that include low energy, low motivation, loss of interest in daily activities. Can you guess what that disorder is? Or shall I read it again?
Read it one more time.
All right, one more time. Episodes of mood swings ranging from depressive lows to manic highs. What is a manic high? An episode of high energy, reduced sleep, you just up.
Yeah.
Psychosis, out of touch with reality. Depressive episodes, periods of low energy, low motivation.
That's the sleeping rainy day person.
Loss of interest in daily activities. You don't want to do anything.
I don't feel like showering.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to comb my hair.
Mhm. You don't want to pod. You don't feel like podding anymore. You don't feel like going to the gym. That would be a depressive episode. What disorder did I just read you the definition of?
I know this too. Polar opposite. Bipolar.
Exactly.
Context clues, people. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. That is a brief description of bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder is a chronic disorder. That's a chronic ailment, meaning that it's long term, it's long lasting. Okay, it's not something that pops up and then it's gone and then later it'll pop up again. No, if you're bipolar, you're bipolar. I am so tired of hearing people use the term I'm bipolar and they are not bipolar. They don't know what it means. You have bad behavior, so you're saying, well, you know I'm bipolar. Who told you? Who told you that? Who diagnosed you and told you that you were bipolar?
Talk to him.
You may have explosive, disruptive behavior, but that does not make you bipolar.
Was that no self-control?
I call it bad behavior.
Explosive, disruptive behavior.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like a...
That's called popping off. That's called snapping on people. You know, all these little cliche terms. And you know I'm bipolar. You're not bipolar. You're disruptive and you're out of control. You're not bipolar. And there are jokes made about it. People joke about it. You know I'm bipolar. Why did you do such and such and such? You know I'm bipolar. No, I don't know you're bipolar. People who are bipolar, people who have bipolar disorder, do not think it's funny because it is a hard disorder to manage and to live with. And it's usually treated with medication and what's called talk therapy.
Talk therapy.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Talk therapy. CBT, for example, cognitive behavioral therapy. What I do with my clients is talk.
Right.
Okay? So talk therapy, you are teaching coping skills. You are addressing underlying emotions, emotional regulation. You're dealing with their thoughts and their feelings. That's psychotherapy, which is different from counseling.
Okay. How so?
I'll give you an example. Let's say you have an addiction.
Okay.
You can work with an addiction counselor. Counseling is a form of coaching. It's usually short term to address a present issue. Psychotherapy is usually long term that addresses underlying issues that contribute to recurrent episodes, recurrent things.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's psychotherapy.
Mm-hmm. So if you're in counseling with me for, give me something.
Bipolar. Look, I'm in student mode. Hold on, you caught me slipping.
I mentioned addiction. Let's say you were addicted to what?
Alcohol. I did that.
Okay. You could work with an alcohol addiction counselor to help you learn tools to manage that addiction, to help you learn tips and techniques and strategies to stay sober one day at a time. Now,
Then one day at a time, do that in there. That's just everything right
bam.
there.
Okay, now let's say, what was the cause of the addiction? What was the cause of the alcoholism? Where's that coming from? What is it that you were pouring the alcohol on? In comes your psychotherapy.
Get my mama out the
You have one gnat in here that I have been trying to ignore.
Yeah, I've been trying to. He came and flew all over me.
Yeah, but do you see the difference?
Yeah. Yeah, so the psycho is more in depth
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just maybe a kid in the transitional period in life where they're just kind of stressed out and having a hard time handling it. Maybe parent split.
Mm-hmm.
That one wouldn't necessarily need psychotherapy if it's caught early enough and managed.
But counseling can help with that.
Got you.
Okay, they can learn how to express themselves, improve their communication skills. They can learn some coping techniques. They can learn how to express how they feel to their parents or to some caring other, some supportive other.
Got you.
Okay, so that's just a brief example. I'm just giving you basic information here.
You want the deep stuff, you got to pay for that.
I did not say that.
I said it. Yo, I'm paying her.
I'm going to sip my Earl Grey, and this is great tea, by the way.
See, I think I'll be playing about this tea, man. This tea means it's time to pop.
The tea is good.
And you see, I've been coming more frequently with it, and I think I'm getting better. I have not had a bad episode with tea. And see, it's not the tea, like the gossip. It's the tea, the real tea. You know, she got Earl Grey. I got green today because I knew I was about to get in student mode, so I had to switch off to Earl Grey. Earl Grey is when I'm ready to kick my shit. But I knew this was more raising awareness. You know, I think mental health is important. She clearly thinks it's important. She went and did years of schooling for it and does it as a profession. So
Since 2007.
Since 2007. And I'm going to give you some flowers real quick because I watched you turn into this. When I was born, not that you weren't great, because you were great.
Oh, thank
When
you.
I was a child growing up, you were great. You were always great. You know, I've seen you do a bunch of different things. I mean, with nails, you had like aerobics classes. You know, I've seen you do all type of stuff. But to watch you go out on your own and tackle the schooling, which she did wonderful in, like her grades probably better than your mama's grades and yours.
Oh,
Put both of those
goodness.
GPAs together.
Oh, no, you didn't.
What? Well, I didn't do nothing. So, like, she handled it for the whole time. I watched that and like that gave me something to strive for. You know, like me in school, I didn't care for it. But I'd still managed to end up going to college. I didn't get that from nowhere.
Well,
You know?
thank you. Thank
See,
you.
I didn't see graduate high school, so I didn't do that. So, but even just everybody's doing it. You know, like you were everybody, you, Victoria, y'all was everybody's doing it. So it's like, go ahead. I did it.
And I'm glad you did, and I'm very proud.
You know, but I guess the flowers I want to hand is just I've watched you grow. And you know, a lot of people, we see our parents as these already grown. That's not true. That's not true. They're evolving every day just like we are. And it was just very nice and it was real positive to see that. So it's like, you know, as I'm getting older, I don't feel like I'm running out of time. Like I've had times where I felt like it and I could always revert back to that. It's like, man, I'm not running out of time. Or even watching dad before he passed start working for himself and making good money. Hell, I was working with him. You know, he was showing me that. Like, I wish he would have did it sooner, but like to see that was powerful for me. And that's something that I want to give to my son that I have now. And if I have any more children, I want to be able to give them that from birth. You know, so where it's like you hear with that already.
But think about it. Look at your life and the changes that you've made. He's been watching you. He has been watching you grow. So you can't discount that.
I don't.
And everyone's growth doesn't look the same way.
No.
But it all counts the same way.
Right.
So you have been showing him growth, and you continue to show him growth. But this field, I don't think that we pick this field. Those of us who are really serious about it, those of us who do this for real, it's not just about the paycheck. I don't think we pick this field. I think the field chooses us.
And that was a question I was definitely going to get to with you. Like, what made you come into this?
I didn't know what it was called, but I did notice that over the course of my life, from the time that I was a child, all through my life, people would talk to me and people would tell me things. And people would share things with me that they said they never shared with anyone else. I was always told that I was easy to talk to. And when I shared what I thought with people, they always found some value in it.
Mm.
And when I found out about behavioral health, I thought, okay, this is a good fit for me. Because I remember when I didn't know what a social worker was.
Right.
I thought a social worker was the person you went to talk to when you wanted to sign up for food stamps. I didn't want to do that.
Ain't that what they are?
No. No, that's a caseworker.
I'm just playing.
You know. And I remember when Deborah told me about social work, and the first thing I said was, I don't want to help people sign up for benefits. And she said, that's not what social work is. I didn't know the difference between a caseworker and a social worker. And when she said that's not what that is, I immediately thought, I don't want to be that lady that goes and takes people's kids. That's not what I want to do. Because people automatically think that child and family services workers, they call them social workers. Most of them are not social workers. They're called social workers. What they are is case workers.
Oh, see?
They are not social workers. And when I found out what a social worker actually was, I thought, this makes sense. This sounds like me. And Deborah gave me some information. I read it. And when I was reading the description of the program, I was thinking, this is me. This is it. So that's how I got into the field. And I chose the mental health portion. I chose the clinical side as opposed to the administrative side because I didn't want to do things like work with families on adoptions. I didn't want to be a case worker or a case manager. I didn't want to do that. I wanted the clinical part. I wanted that medical piece.
Right.
I wanted to be the person who performed diagnosis, assessment. Not diagnosis. Diagnostic assessments to come up with the diagnosis. And I wanted to provide therapy. I wanted to diagnose and provide treatment for people with mental illnesses. So that's how I ended up here.
See, there's people that want to help. This is what they're here for. The Nat does not want to help. The Nat wants to annoy. But there are people that want to help. You know. You just said something I wanted to ask you about. Treatment. I know there's multiple forms of treatment. I know you was telling me something earlier. And it sounded real fancy.
Yes, yes, yes. When it comes to mental health treatment, usually you hear two things: medication and you hear therapy. People, for a lot of people, it's nothing for them to say, I have a therapist, or my therapist said this, or I go see my therapist. A lot of people are very okay with therapy. My issue with medication is I don't have a problem with it when it's absolutely necessary, but I do believe that if there is a way around medication, then take that alternative route.
Right.
I was reading some information earlier today about something called TMS. TMS stands for transcranial magnetic stimulation. And I found out that it started off being used to treat people with schizophrenia. And now it's being used, in addition to schizophrenia, for depression, anxiety, PTSD, OCD, bipolar disorder. And what I like about it, it's non-invasive.
Okay.
There are no side effects, because with a lot of your psychotropic meds, you can have side effects, whether it's weight gain or sexual dysfunction.
That sounds terrible.
It happens.
Fat and flaccid. That's
It
terrible.
can happen, and it affects women sexually. It can affect women sexually in a negative way as well.
Like, that sounds like it would make the depression worse.
But what the medication is designed to do is to affect the brain chemistry.
Okay.
Your brain may not produce enough serotonin. It may not produce enough dopamine. So what you're trying to do with the medication is affect the brain chemistry in a way that it will level it out so that you're balanced, so that you can feel more balanced. Okay. So that's what medication is designed to do. You've got a whole lot of antidepressants. But the thing with the medication is that there can be side effects. But sometimes the side effects are worth it for the benefit.
Right.
Okay. But what I like about TMS is that it's non-invasive. It uses magnetic energy to basically wake up or activate the neurons in the limbic system of the brain, in the frontal cortex. I'm looking at your face, okay.
I'm like limbic, limbo. I'm
Your limbic, the
lobotomy. The part that gets cut off with a lobotomy.
No, stop. The limbic system is that part of the brain that, when you feel pleasure,
okay,
that's activation in your limbic system.
It's like when you get like good head scratch.
I can't.
Yeah, that's
well, actually, okay, yeah, okay. But the part of the brain that processes pleasure, that's the limbic system. And interestingly, that's one of the reasons that addictions are such a problem, because that limbic system in the brain is being affected. So, but that's a whole different conversation there. But with TMS, magnetic energy is used to get those neurons firing. Because when you do a scan of a brain of a healthy person and a scan of the brain of a depressed person, the person who's depressed doesn't have as many areas that are lit up. They glow
Oh.
on an image
Okay.
of the brain.
So it's like they're not firing on all cylinders.
Right. So TMS gets those cylinders firing.
Mm.
And it can be done in a psychiatrist's office. It can be done in a doctor's office. I was looking to see where a person could get that done or who could do that in the state of Ohio, because different states have different licensing requirements. Who can do what under what license?
Right.
And psychiatric nurses can perform that treatment. Physician's assistants can perform that treatment. Doctors, of course. And we know that psychiatrists are doctors. Okay. And a lot of people.
So are dentists.
A lot of people think that if they have a mental health issue, they go to a psychiatrist to talk. You know, you see the images on TV, going to see the psychiatrist and laying down on the sofa. No, that's
the room
not.
Full of books, or the room with the plant in the window.
That's not how that works. You go to a psychiatrist either to get a treatment such as TMS or to get medication. The psychiatrist is not going to sit down and talk with you about whatever your issue is.
Unless you're filthy rich. And I'm going to buy this psychiatrist's time. Because they probably hitting for $1,000 an hour.
I don't know what they make, but it's definitely more than we make. But I am very interested in TMS, so I'm going to be doing more research and getting more information about it, because that's something I would definitely, it sounds like something that I would definitely recommend to someone. The only thing is, one of the conditions that you have to meet in order for your insurance to pay for it, there are certain diagnoses you have to have. Major depressive disorder is one of them. But you have to have tried 2 medications without results. You have to have engaged in talk therapy with no improvement. So there's a little list of things that you have to do first before insurance will pay for that.
So it's like, man, pay our big farm a little bit of money. I'm not gonna go there. That's not my place. At least not with you.
I'm not touching that.
And like you said, you're not against medicine because you do see the benefit of it. But if you can take an alternative route, why not?
And one of the things that I strongly suggest is changing your diet. Do you know that studies have been done? Many people who suffer from, I'll use anxiety and depression, guess what they found out when their blood was analyzed? They had low levels of magnesium, low magnesium levels, low vitamin D levels can contribute to depression and anxiety. So my idea is that let's take a look at your diet. What are you eating? What are you putting into your body? Because we know that we get our nutrients from our food.
Right.
There are actually foods that can help to improve your mood, improve how you're feeling on a daily basis.
Man, so don't be scared of them vegetables and the fruit. That cheeseburger from McDonald's I guarantee it's not contributing to your overall happiness.
No, people need to increase their dark leafy greens, turnip greens, collard greens, romaine lettuce, oysters, Swiss chard, spinach, bell peppers, green ones, red ones, yellow ones.
I love it.
Those are just some of the foods that can positively impact your mood.
And for those who know my mother, y'all know green juices, green smoothies. That's her thing.
Yes, it is. It is.
And she's always just as chipper as ever. So I'm inclined to believe that it works.
When you have something going on in your body and you change your diet, you start to incorporate juices, you start to incorporate smoothies, and you see physical changes, you see actual changes. Yes, I'm a believer. Because I remember when, some years ago, my blood pressure started creeping up.
I remember you mentioning that.
and you have never known me to take a blood pressure medication.
Right.
I remember when I started having pain in my knee.
I remember that.
Okay? Started juicing, all of that went away. So I am a firm, full believer that food is our medicine. And for those that read the Bible, I do believe that's a verse. I just can't tell you where it is right now.
Take that, Bible thumper. I guess that's in their favor, so it's not take that, non-believers.
Yeah, non-believers.
Yeah, somebody got to take that. Somebody got to take that.
Yeah, but if you change your diet, you can change your life. There are people who have been really physically ill that have changed their lives by changing their diets. So yes, I am a firm, wholehearted, fully persuaded believer in you are what you eat.
Yeah, we was talking to the one guy from the band. He was talking about getting rid of, what was it, diabetes? He was talking about drinking water and eating. Yeah, there's people out here that do this stuff. I don't know if it gets broadcasted the way that medicine does. But there's people out here, if you looking, there's people who have overcome certain illnesses and things with the change in their diet.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain people who have lost weight without living at the gym by changing their diet. So
I did.
Right.
Because a few months ago, I was, 176 pounds? I stepped up my juice game, stepped up my smoothie game. I weigh 160.
And that's a couple months. And she don't be in the gym.
No, I have not been. I have not been in the gym. But I saw your post, and yesterday when you made that run, I am so motivated. I'm getting ready to hit my stairs again.
Oh, for those who don't know. So it's fall time for this whole entire season. I got a hashtag called Let the Reps Fall. And what that is whatever exercise I go in the gym and do, it's 100 reps. Now I'm not gonna go in there and max out and do 100 reps. I'm not gonna be able to. That's stupid. Don't be that. It's just, you get you a weight you can handle. You might can move up and down through the sets, but whatever it is, 100 reps. If you do one squat, you gotta do 100 of them. You do one push up, you gotta do at least 100 of them. You do one pull up, you gotta do 100 of them. Stay away from the pull ups. It lit me up.
But it's doable when you break it down into sets.
And another rule to the Let the Reps Fall. It's 100 reps in 10 sets or less. Mm. So 10 sets of 10, anything is manageable in that format. I try to get it 10 sets or less. So that's my thing. If y'all want to take part in it, I would encourage it. Maybe post a little video of you at the gym or something. Use that hashtag. That'd be nice. I'm going to town with it. So my whole objective this fall is increase my muscle endurance. And in this winter, I'm going heavy.
I am definitely inspired to start back on my journey because I've watched you transform. I've watched you transform your thinking. I've watched you transform your body. I've watched you transform your life. So I am definitely Team Cleveland Douglas Holmes.
Yeah.
The third.
Don't forget the 3. And yesterday I did a milestone of mine, what you were just talking about. I ran 5 miles. I ran to her house. It was 5 miles away from where I started. I had no idea I could do it, but something told me, just go for it. I went for it. I'm super happy I did. I've been, riding a high since yesterday when I did it. And I actually, crushed the time. At least in my terms of crushing. If you could do it faster than that, I think you're lying. I did. I knocked out the 5 miles in about 40 minutes. Maybe a couple seconds less. But I'm going to just say 40 minutes. So y'all feel like it's something y'all can attain, reach. I didn't know I could keep that pace. I knew I could do an 8-minute mile. I didn't know I could do it for 5 miles. Mm-hmm. I didn't know I could keep that pace. That was new to me. And like I said, pushed my limit. That was a new limit for me. And I feel great about it. That's actually like one of my favorite things I've done since I started this. So I was real happy about that. I'm still real happy about that. I went to the gym. I told everybody that I did it because I was telling them that I was about to do it. I was thinking about it. And the guy was like, man, you need a ride? You don't want to do it? I'm like, nah, because I planned on running home, but now I'm going to your house instead of going home. I'm like, I'm going to just jog there. So I didn't take the ride.
Okay. And look what it did for you.
Ah, man.
Look at how you feel. Now, that happened yesterday, and look how you feel today.
Yeah, my confidence is way up here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to tackle something new. Like, I'm ready. That like, gave me life.
And we were talking about depression earlier, and you mentioned treatments. One of the things that we can do for ourselves is movement, because usually when you're depressed, you don't feel like moving. But if you will make your body move, if you will just get up and move, even if you don't do anything but dance in your own home, if you go outside and take a walk outside barefoot on the grass. What a lot of people don't understand is, or know, I'll say, is that the earth releases negative ions. And those negative ions have a calming and relaxing effect on the central nervous system of the body. There's a name for it. It's called grounding. Yeah. It's when you come in contact with the bare earth. It can't be concrete. It can't be asphalt. You need either dirt or sand, grass. Just allow your feet to come into contact with the earth. I know you've heard people referred to as tree huggers.
Yeah.
There's something to that. There's science behind that.
Yeah, because they always, you've seen a mad tree hugger? Like, if you did, it's because of something you did to them.
And they won't be mad while they're hugging the tree.
Right. You done pissed them off and got them off their tree and maybe made them put some shoes on. Take a bath. No.
They take baths. But it's the negative ions that are released.
Yeah. And even with the movement, like working out, it releases dopamine. Mm-hmm. So if you're depressed, you're probably lacking. You're seriously lacking. Yep, endorphins, dopamine. When people say that a workout high, it's a real thing. Mm-hmm. It's just not the negative thing. It's not like I'm high out of my mind. Mm-hmm. It's like, but you can't help but feel a certain level of good after a workout. Mm-hmm. You can't help it. You can try.
And then knowing that you're doing something that's doing you overall good, that makes you feel good as well. So there are certain things that you can do that can help you to elevate your mood. Moving your body, listening to music. I've heard some of your podcasts where you were talking about good music and how music is powerful. And I'm thinking to myself, does he realize how right he is?
I started to mention that probably 1 or 2 pods ago. Mm-hmm. Like, with the vibrations and rhythms. Mm-hmm. It's real. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I'm saving certain topics. I don't know what I'm saving for.
Well, when you decide to do that one, maybe I can do it with you.
Oh, I would love that.
Okay.
I would love that.
Okay.
I would definitely love that.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
So, since we're talking to music, before we get out of here, make music great again. So, I'm sure you're familiar with it, but I'll explain it anyway. It's pretty much what you got going on music-wise, what you're listening to, rather it be old or new, just your contribution to great music. What would you run with, or would you like me to go first?
I would have to say I'm old, so I'm old school.
That's
so
all right.
I listen to old school. I am going to say Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Wow.
Greatest band of all time, in my opinion.
Greatest band of all time, in my opinion. And I think I'm upset she used that one before I did. Why have I never said that?
I got a better one for you. Your nephew, Davon. knows the words to 2 Earth, Wind, and Fire songs.
Damn. They didn't listen to old music.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I wrote one down, man. Matter of fact, shout out to Dave Vaughn, man. And it was, damn, I didn't write the song down. But look, you see this?
Hi, Davon. Hey, grandson.
Shout out to Day Day. How you doing, man? It is his favorite song. It's like an Ice Cube song or Snoop Dogg. Damn, why didn't I write it down? You see, I wrote this down. That was one of my topics.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't write the song down. Day Day. I'm gonna give y'all the song next episode.
Okay.
So yours is Earth, Wind, and Fire. For those who don't know, Earth, Wind, and Fire is by far my favorite band ever.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
Earth, Wind, and Fire is incomparably my favorite band.
All right.
I have not heard a band that has come close.
They are so cold. The other day, I heard a remix, or what did I hear? I heard Earth, Wind, and Fire with a new artist.
Lucky Day,
Okay.
which is also one of my favorite artists right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing compilation.
Yeah. So that's a big deal to be sharing the stage with Earth, Wind, and Fire. At least to me. So that made him even more cool in my book. I already love Lucky Day. That's the guy that I had you listening to the one day we was watching the Tiny Desk concert.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah, so Lucky Day is dope.
He has to be, because Earth, Wind, and Fire is not gonna just get
I
together
wouldn't
with
even be happy.
anybody.
I wouldn't be happy if they got with anybody. I don't want to hear Trey Songz in Earth, Wind, and Fire. I like Trey Songz. He's alright. I don't want to hear him with Earth, Wind, and Fire. Don't touch that microphone. Put it down. Security, get this man out of here.
Security.
Yeah, but like I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
They styles is too different. Don't taint my Earth, Wind, and Fire. Let me listen to you by myself. Because I like Trey Songz. Now this is not a knock on Trey Songz. It's not. I just don't want
Him with Earth, Wind, and Fire. Okay.
He don't match that.
Okay.
Don't touch it.
So that's like mixing colors and whites together in the laundry. You don't do that.
Yeah, because you're going to mess up the white shit.
Okay.
So we got Earth, Wind, and Fire as your choice. My choice, I'll go more recent. Guy named Baby Keem. He's a rapper. Baby Keem, he's got a new project. I like it. It's real creative. His rapping is actually good, but I like it more from a creative standpoint. He's going different sounds. He already has a distinct sound of his own. So just him really just embracing that, getting into it. I like that. I like the project. The project is good. That's actually what I was running to.
Okay.
And it was good. It kept me entertained. I had listened to it before that, but I'm a sucker for creative, like for creative music. Like I know most of these messages are going to be the same. How are you going to dress it up? How are you going to hand it to me?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to hand it to me like this guy did? Because there's a lot of artists nowadays that sound the same.
Yes.
Like you don't know who's who unless you like really pay attention to it. I don't care for that.
That's one of the things that's so amazing about Earth, Wind, and Fire. They only sound like Earth, Wind, and Fire. No one sounds like Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Because when you was listening to the song, you're like, have you heard this? I'm listening. And at first I didn't even realize that was Lucky Day.
Mm-hmm.
I knew they had a song together, but I hadn't listened to it yet for whatever reason. I don't know why. I think because I kind of didn't want to. Because it's Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, this guy gets on Earth, Wind, and Fire song and messes this up. I'm not going to like him anymore. I was scared for him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to dislike Lucky Day because I love Lucky Day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in the back of my subconscious, I'm like, don't listen to that.
Okay.
Just let it pass.
Okay.
And I caught it anyway. Because I'm listening like, hold on, this sounds like the Long Song Away guy. But then when I hear Earth, Wind and Fire, I'm like, that's not the Long Song Away guy. I know who that is.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you said.
And it's like, okay, so that's got to be Lucky Day. I'm like, this is the song.
You mentioned something. You said you were running to
Baby King.
Baby King. This is what you were listening to, getting your work in. When I work out, do you know who I listen to?
Who?
You.
Stop it.
I'm serious.
Oh.
I do this for me and everything that I believe. Oh yeah. I switched the word king with queen, but that's my stuff. That's my stuff. When I'm doing my power walk, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah. When I'm doing my stairs.
I'm gonna throw my music on Spotify for y'all, man.
I think you should.
I'm gonna throw that up there. I'm gonna throw that out there.
I think you should.
I'm gonna throw that out there. Maybe I'll make that my goal before the year's over. Throw out a couple songs.
I think you should, because it's not as though your music isn't good. And I don't just think it's good because you're my son. I actually like it. I can actually hear what you're saying. Now, I'm not going to say I like every song, because every song is not for me.
Right.
You know, and I'm okay with that. But the ones that I like, I really like. I appreciate being able to understand what you're saying. I like the music. What do you call it? The beat?
Yeah.
I like the beat.
I own all my beats, so I can sell my music.
Okay. That's what's up. But I enjoy it. I like the positivity. I like the message. Even your intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the name to that one? The name of that song?
What the light show?
No, your intro.
The intro to the song. I mean to the show.
Yes.
It's called Getting Mine.
Getting Mine?
Yeah.
I haven't heard the verses yet, but the hook, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I actually performed it. A couple episodes I mentioned something about having a show out in Akron. We actually did that last week. I had a ball. I hadn't touched the stage in quite a while. So it was fun to get asked to come out, you know, back by popular demand. You know, that's what I felt like. Really, it was only one guy that asked me. And I went. But it was definitely fun. And, of course, I got good reception on my music, which I normally do. I performed in places where people didn't know me, and I usually would still get good feedback. The best feedback for me is when I see people in the crowd start bopping with it, and I know you don't have a clue who I am.
I'll tell you my favorite moment. The show you did when you took the stage after all your other artists performed, and you started doing your song, my song. Mm-hmm. I do this, and everybody in the place almost were singing along with you. I'm like, oh my goodness, they know his music.
That shocked me.
So
I didn't know
that was big. That was big. I was so proud.
Yeah.
I was so proud.
For those who don't know, I don't be just talking. I get busy on the low.
He's good. Because I figure if you can appeal to someone in my age group, then that's a good thing.
Man.
That's a very good thing.
I'll make sure I get that out. But we got this cheesecake here. I got some cheesecake delivered, and I'm ready to get into that. So, once again, this is the call. Oh, did you want to shoot those numbers one more time?
Yes, I'm going to give these numbers out for anyone who either you yourself or you may know someone who could use some help, who may be having some challenges with their mental health. Please take note of these numbers. The first one is Ohio Care Line, 1-800-720-9616. One more time, 1-800-720-9616. 720-9616. There's also a text line to be connected to a crisis counselor within 5 minutes of your text. You text the number 4 and the word hope to 741-741. I'll say that one again. 741-741. Text the number 4 and the word hope, and a crisis counselor will get back to you in 5 minutes. And then there's the suicide hotline. The number is 1-800-273-TALK. 1-800-273-TALK. The word talk, those numbers are 8255. So that's 1-800-273-8255.
So yeah, if you or someone you know needs some help, don't hesitate to call those numbers. Unfortunately, those are only for Ohio. If someone outside of Ohio is listening, there are ways to, hell, you could probably call those numbers and they could direct you to your state. If it's that dire, if you don't want to look it up yourself.
I believe the text line and the suicide hotline are national numbers. I believe they are. But wherever you live, if you need help and you can't think of either of those numbers, dial 211. 211. That's your helpline.
So if you can't get those numbers, 211, get some help, man.
Absolutely.
Reach out for it.
Absolutely.
Worst case scenario, you're in the same position you're in. You have nothing to lose by looking for help. Try to get it if you need it. It's there for you. That being said, it's your man Cleveland Holmes, Be Professional, Showtime if you nasty, along with my beautiful mother, aka Mommy. That's Miss Holmes for you people that aren't me. This ain't y'all's mom. It's mine. Yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all next time. Have a good one.